Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure for us in another episode of the Tennis Talk, where the coaches have a voice, have a great leader, a great tennis coach with us, Luis Cayer. Hi, Luis.
Hello, Fernando.
Good to have you in our episode of the Tennis Talk. Let me introduce you for everybody know about your career, but let me introduce about Luis Cayer. He's a world-class coach and international tennis leader with a great results on ATP, WTA, and ITF. He developed 7 number 1 in the world in doubles and more than 28 players at the top 50 of the rankings. Also, he's a multiple Grand Slam champion with the players. Actually, he is a Great Britain Davis Cup coach and Billie Jean King coach, and also LTA performance advisor in many areas. Also, he received the ITF Lifetime Contribution Award, and also last year, and a very important award, he received the MVE Great Britain Award, like a recipient of that award. Congratulations for all a very long and successful career, Luis.
Thank you, Fernando.
Let me ask you.
Yes.
Let me ask you our first question. Okay. Who is Luis Cayer?
First of all, I never like to receive that question because I never like anybody to label me, to put me in a box. So very often when people ask me that, I say, I see myself as a spiritual being and always in constant transformation. I like to believe that who I am today is not who I was 5 years ago or 10 years ago. So to put me in a box and say, this is who I am, I don't like that. So, but I understand what you mean. So I will go few categories of what people expect to hear. I'm a happy married man, and I'm a father of a beautiful son, Sebastian, who is 10 years old. And that's for me very important in my life. If you didn't recognize the accent, I'm French Canadian. So I moved to London when I was 55. I moved in London like, I moved in London for the lady with whom I married and have a son. And that's the reason why I come to the England and I work for the LTA as a consequence. I didn't come here for the work. I come here for love. And then the LTA hired me. And that's why I work for them. So I didn't leave Canada for having a different paycheck. Beside that, who I am, I like to think that I'm a caring person. I like to, my main important values are love, family, contribution, and self-growth. And if I look at the different decisions I've done in my life, it's pretty much based on these 4 main values.
Very good one. Luis, let me ask you, how was you are a great international coach and also a tennis leader. How was that transformation to be who you are right now?
Do you mean how did it all started?
Yeah. How was the transformation to become a top coach?
But my little story started quite early. I was like 16, 17 in the park, and I always have that passion. So during my lunch time, I would bring my sandwich on the court and help give some private lesson to some of the kids who were very enthusiastic. And suddenly our park started to be one of the best parks in the city. So the men in charge of the parks of the city of Montreal, which is a big city, say, how come some people are coming from there? They say, this is that young guy, Cayer is so enthusiastic. He's always on the court. He's helping the kids, that's it. So then he promoted me to be in charge of the center of all the parks of Montreal. And then the kids of city of Montreal started to be ranked provincially, which was not happening before. So the province, the Federation of Quebec say, how come the parks start to develop provincial player? They said that's a very keen guy, Cayer, who's doing that. So they asked me to start to work for the Quebec Federation. And guess what, same thing happened. Then I came to a club and I was developing at one point, I have pretty much all the number 1, 18 guys, girls, 16, 14. And some of the guys that I worked, like Martin Laurando, which I started at 13, start to be in the Davis Cup. Then I start to work with Davis Cup players. So Tennis Canada say, who's that guy? And then they start to ask me. And then I became with the Pierre Lamarche. I joined the All-Canadian. Then I became a Davis Cup coach to help Pierre Lamarche. Then I became Davis Cup captain, which for Canada for 7 years. So that's it. It was always starting at the lowest level, like one park. And I was always motivated by helping people to become the best they can be. I always have that passion of helping people. Like I say, contribution is one of my very high quality. If I wasn't coaching hockey, football, whatever it is, it will not change me. I just have a passion. It happened that the sport that I love is tennis, but what I love most is to help people. And I always wanted to be a teacher. I studied at university to be a pedagogue. Mm-hmm. And I studied geography, and I was a teacher of geography in high school. And I teach also geography a bit at university. And I make contact with a coaching methodology called the action method. And I adapt it for high performance tennis. And then I started to do presentation, including in Argentina in the 1990s, where we met when I was
1992.
1992, where I was presenting on the action method, which is a game-based approach to tennis.
Wonderful presentation, by the way. Always good remembrances about that presentation. Let me ask you, Louis, you are a high-performing person, no? And also the sense of contribution and the thing you want to share with people are always very present. How was to face that evolution? How many opportunities and also difficulties you faced?
I think the biggest difficulty was when I was looking to go the step, who's that guy? Because I was not a past player. So it's so much easier if you're a previous number one, you go in high performance and people expect you and find it normal. But I was not a past player. I was not international. At the best, I was 11, my best ranking in my province, which is not the country. So I was okay player, like a low national level, medium national level. So it was always difficult because they were always saying, who's that guy? Who's that guy?
Yeah.
How can he tell us how to coach? Who he has developed, whatever. And it's only when you start to develop a lot of players. At one point, I have 3 or 4 players who were on the Davis Cup team. So now they say, okay, he's developing. So they start to listen more to what I had to bring. But I was the same coach 5, 7, 8 years before. But they were not interested. I was quite young, not a past player. And it's because I went to university and I get into didactic pedagogy. I was having that discourse. But what was funny, it was when I present the action method, they said, okay, it's great for beginner, but not for advanced players. And then when I was presenting to high performance, I say, okay, it's very good for high performance players, but not for beginners. So there was always, so that's it. It was more resistance until I started to become more known. And after that, it was easy. And when I came to UK, because I've already kind of a little reputation, it was quite easy to go through. But it's when you're young, not a past player, and you come with innovative ideas, sometimes you receive a lot of a blockage. And that's it. Yeah. I had to fight through a lot of stages to eventually succeed in high performance.
Yeah. It's part of the equation in tennis, no? You have to create that transformation and to face this kind of situation. And talking about what is the thinking way of the great players, because you develop a top players, number one in the world, several number one in the world, and you travel around, not too many times on the circuit, not permanently, but you go to the great tournaments, you watch the Nadals, the Federer, the Djokovic right now in Great Britain, you can, Andy Murray, Jamie, all the players. Which is the difference, how they think, how they behave?
First of all, they have an obsession. They're obsessed, which leads to work ethic, discipline. They just have that vision. They really want to be number one, but they just don't care about it. They're ready like to pay the price to be number one. They work so hard. I had the chance to sometimes see what Andy Murray does or was doing, what even does now with his hip. I mean, he's an animal. He works so hard to go. So I think they're very ready to do things that other players are not ready to. They go the extra mile. They make always a little bit extra, but not only in tennis. I used to like to read biography of champions, ice hockey or basketball, whatever. They champion, ice hockey or basket, they arrive first, they leave last. They do extra practice. They do everything. So even, let's say like one of the first international player, like high ranking, let's say it was, let's say Greg Ruzetsky.
Yep.
Because to not just talk when they're adult at 14, 15, his father was driving 20 miles. I was leaving my key to open the key of a basket at 8 o'clock, because before it was all, the courts were all sold. And he will practice a serve from 8 to 8:45, then they will drive back home for another 20 minutes. But the other kids were not doing that. But he said, I want to have the best serve in the world. But he was taking action on it, not just talking about it. So pretty much all my experience for the best juniors in the world, best doubles, best singles, they walk their talk. They say, and they're not afraid to say it. Like Andy was saying, I want to win Wimbledon. And when he didn't win, when he lost in the final, he cried, stuff like this. But he say it. All the other guys say, Wimbledon is a tournament like the other. I don't want to put pressure on me. But they're loser. They will never win Wimbledon, by my opinion. So one of the reasons, I think just, I don't know, indeed, like I was involved with players with several slam, I don't know, 15, 16. We say, no, a slam is not a tournament like the others. It's a slam. And therefore, just before we're going to do this, we're going to do that, during we're going to do this. And it's not a tournament like the others. Olympics are not a tournament like the others. And you have to be able to state that you're here to win the slam, but you can lose in first round, but you're here to win. Because if you look at the Olympians, they say they're there to win the gold medal. They don't hide. Oh, it's just a tournament like the others, we'll do the best we can. They say they're there to win the gold. So personally, I like the players say we're here to win that slam. That's it. Knowing that, of course, it's not because they say that they're going to win. But if they get in a position of winning, though, it was pre-framed in their head. And I know you know about neurolinguistics. And I prefer to have a pre-framing that they're going to win it than no pre-framing and just do the best you can. Anyway, personally, I see that like this. I know other people can see it differently, but that's fine. There's not just one way to see it. But it's everything starts with a dream. Then you put a plan, and then you act on it with resilience, perseverance, commitment, determination, and you just make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. In the day-by-day process, no?
Yeah, absolutely.
And talking about that, in the same, which is related, and the next question, how do you decode greatness? When someone, have the ability or the potential, could be a great player, and how to create a development pathway to reach that greatness?
For many athletes, because I was never a coach developing Nadal, Djokovic, Nadal, Federer, who are great. So I was involved in helping some doubles players to become at the top. So I know more that story. What I know is I was seeing their greatness before they see it. So my job was to make them see it. As probably Djokovic, who I don't know personally, may have think of himself great right away. The players I helped them. So just a quick story. I think Pierre Lamarche. When I started on the tour, he told me right away, I was with Connell Michivada, hey, these guys can be one in the world, but they were ranked, 80. So I get really mad at him. Say, I don't need that. I will not say the word I say. I don't need that. I'm just starting on the tour. Why do you put that pressure on me? That's mean if they don't become one, I'm a loser. I'm not a good coach. So I get pretty moody at him. And then he said, no, I really believe it. Nobody practiced doubles. These guys are really good at the net and all this. I don't think they maximize their skill. I know how you coach. I think you can make a difference. So when I believed that I could do it, I presented to Colonel Michibara. Hey guys, I think if we practice a few times, I think we can become one in the world. How do you think they react? They both get mad at me. And
Yeah.
yeah, mad at me. Michibara didn't talk to me 2-3 days. Then Colonel came and said, Louis, why do you do that? I know you're a rookie on the road now, but we don't need that type of pressure. Let's play one match at a time and let's see where it brings us. No, I said, I studied in geography on space management. And I went on my rope, my famous rope in doubles. Say, look, when people poach, they always cross. When you serve wide, you don't have to cross the court. You can be just in the middle. You can do this, you can do that. So I start with the rope, show them positioning, movement. And I say, nobody practice that. If we practice better positioning, better movement, great uncertainty, and have great coverage, so they have to try a very difficult shot, you'll be surprised. It's not just about you beating them. It's about them losing to you because they try a tough shot. So I said, let's do 3 times half hour a week. So they buy into that, and the ranking just got rise. And after that, I was on a roll, because when they start to have success, the other generation, Lavo, Lester of Canadian, because that group have success. Same thing now in Great Britain because of Jamie. Now Joe is number 1, Neil is number 1 in the race. Lloyd Glasspool just started at 80, now he's 7th in the race. So we have 3 teams in the top 7 in the race. And because it becomes easier, the collective belief.
As a progression. No?
But you have to start at the beginning, and it's like the rocket or whatever. It takes a lot of energy to get out of the ground, but once it's out of the ground, it goes smoother. So to answer your question, to define greatness, personally, I would not coach someone that I could not see greatness. So first I look, there's a potential. Then I close my eyes. Let's say I coach you. How's Fernando Segal kind of best in the world? Oh yeah. Then when I see you part of the best in the world and stuff like this, then I help you to see that. I give you the plan of how I plan. And very often I say 2-3 years. I don't say next week. I'm not stupid. I say in 2 or 3 years, you're going to do at the master level. So I start with top 70 to make the slam, not top 100 like singles, top 70. And after that, top 30 to make the masters. And after that, we say, let's go. And that's it. I think it starts, honestly, from my experience, it started by me really believing in that, and then make them believe. And when we both believe and we work hard, then some good things happen.
Very, very good insights, Louis. And we know you are very systematic. You create a system. And you are a total leader and one of the big ones in terms how to develop double players. Can you describe for the audience some of the main coaching principles that you have?
For doubles?
Let's say in general, not only for doubles, so key aspect that you try to put in every player.
Okay, but first of all, let's say I'm also a consultant for the National Academy Junior. So we really believe it's not just wording, because I saw some of your speakers, it's really person first. If the person is not happy, if the person, whatever, we have to know the person, communicate, and I believe in enjoyment and improvement, and you have to connect well with the person. And anyway, don't want to go too much in detail on that person. Then the performer. The performer, I got that from Spain many years ago. Emilio Sanchez say, us in Spain is head, heart, and legs. Mental, emotional, and physical. But these words are much more relatable to a junior. Come on, put your head into it, put your heart into it. Come on, your legs, your legs were not there. And when you sell the concept of performer, then a lot of things happen well. And personally, the players know that if the performer is not there, then the other P is player, so person, performer, and player. Mm-hmm. We don't talk about the match, the stroke, the backhand, the tactics. You were flat, you were not there. Like just lately, Niels Coetzee won the Wimbledon in mix. He partied a bit, then he arrived on clay. He was not ready mentally. He said, we don't analyze the match. I was flat, I was not there. I didn't perform, so don't lose time. Because he knows that whatever feedback I'll give him on his technique or on tactics is irrelevant, because
Exactly.
He didn't really play in compete. He was not ready for it. Now he could learn from it. It's okay if next time, if it happens again, and I do this and I do that and I come, what will I do different? So that's another story. But we don't talk about tennis if the performer is not there. And the players learn that quite quickly. And they know that the first thing is to perform. And after that, we talk about tactics and technique. So person, performer, and player. And performer is very simple. It's head, heart, and legs. And we do that in training. We do that every time. And the guys get very used to that concept of performer. And,
Yeah.
and to just say an application, because there's many applications to it, we change in UK the definition of strategy. It used to be the game plan to win the match.
Mm-hmm.
Now it is the objective to win the match. What is the difference? It could be you're going to give 100% there. You're going to run every ball. You're going to do this. It's very hot. Be sure you drink, let's say they're junior, every changeover, do this, do that. And then we give a game plan, stuff like this. But if they didn't do every other things that we say before, relate to ADR or maintain the energy or positive or do their routine, they will see that we don't do a lot of visual video analysis, a lot of stats and all this, because they have to first and foremost get the objective that they have control over. So they don't control the controllables. So they have control on the objective of performer.
Yeah.
They don't have full control of the objective of winning a match and beating the guy in front of them. They can do their best, but they can't control the performer, and we want it. So I think because a lot of the success gamer that I have is not just because I tell them to stand in the middle to make a fake or whatever. I think it's because of who I am that I install a lot of values.
Yeah.
And who they become working with me. They know that this is the parameters. I will not tolerate any lack of work ethic, lack of discipline, lack of professionalism, and all this. And then we create a culture and environment of high performance, which I think help them to maximize their skills.
Yeah, absolutely. Very important. And related with that response that you did, very good one. And how was the behavior of the coaches adapting, because you did a major change in terms the meaning of what means strategy, and also how was the process, let's say, general coaches which are working not only in the LTA, general coaches which are working in different high performance development plans?
First, LTA for me was very important because I was working there. So I was very lucky to have the support of two main key persons. Leon Smith, the Davis Cup captain, liked what I was doing and he was supporting it and create meetings with all the high performance coach to present the frameworks that I have on technique, tactics, footwork, and all this. And because he was backing it up, that gives you also a good stamp. I have maybe a little, little reputation, but Leon Smith is big. And if Leon Smith stamped, and the other big support was Judy Murray, when she was Fed Cup, so she also supported me. So I had the strongest personality and leader in the men and the woman, both supporting my work and promoting and asking the coach to get on board with that British tennis will get better. So that really helped me. Then after that, for all the other coach, like when we do coaching certification, CPD conference, I don't know, once you start to have a reputation, it helps. But it was not always like this when I start, like I share with you. But now I start in UK. Now I'm not sure if I was going to Mexico, they may say, who's that guy, and then he will say, oh, he's only a doubles coach, and they will maybe shut down. But in UK now, it's going well. I've been there for 15 years now, so I'm quite known, and I think people kind of value what I bring to tennis.
It's more a philosophy, no? It's more like a philosophical concept system that like you say, is not only for doubles. That's why it's very important that people in our audience, which we have tennis coaches, fans, tennis people, every level, they can understand that there are many things beyond that we can learn about it. How was you develop a lot of ATP number one, WTA players, ATP top 10, top 50. How was that journey? How was the motivation to keep going, keep moving forward, keep learning?
Like I tell you, one of my first four values is self-growth. So I always want to learn. I used to, with the YouTube and all this, it changed, but I used to read 2-3 books a week. And I would not read just on tennis. I would read on things that then you can make a learning transfer a tiny bit and apply it to tennis. But for me, like I say, I see myself like someone in constant transformation. To not learn, to not feel I'm getting better, it was not acceptable for me. It was kind of would not say a drug, but an addiction to know more, to get better. So that was easy. I could not say I was motivated. It's not even a matter of motivation. It's who I am. That's what I like to do. So I was not very motivated. But there's a point though, in Canada around 55, I wanted to stop. I felt I'd done enough. There's captain, an Olympic coach, and I felt, okay, I've got quite a lot around, and I wanted to become like a personal life coach. But suddenly, a lot of things happened. I was owning quite a lot of clubs. I was quite rich. Suddenly, lost the club, Nuns Island, lost the club at Delray, divorce, start a new life, and then I go to England, and I needed to work. And suddenly, the jab of the flu of being a high performance coach kicked in again, because at that time guys were ranked 140 in doubles. I remember saying to my first meeting with Jamie Murray, say, what is your objective? He said, I'll be top 100 to be like with my brother and to go and slam. I said, what, top 100 doubles? Yeah. I said, my God, you really know nothing about doubles. You have to be 70. Combined ranking is 140. It's not like in singles where 100 you make it. And then I watch him play, and those who know Jamie Murray, I said, wow, cannot hit a forehand. So I said, wow, that's my first student. I came back and said, gee, it's going to be tough. No, I'm not a magician. And Jamie became one in the world. So that was nice. What I succeed, because he said it also himself. So I know he thinks like this. Never believe to be one. They say you believe so much, you start to make me believe in it. Yeah. So I say, if you play like the others, you won't beat them, because they serve harder, they have their forehand hard, they do everything. So we'll be very different. So you're going to lob a lot. At that time, now people lob a lot, but at that time, Jamie was the one lobbing the most. You're going to lob, you're going to chip, you're going to come in, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. And I say, you'll be so different. Everybody will have to adapt to you, and pretty much everybody plays the same. So for you, it's going to be easy. So I succeed to sell the concept of being different and not be better than everybody else. Exactly. Be the most different than to everybody else, and say, let's see what happens. But I think because they will have to adapt, they're going to get frustrated, and you have a good shot to be the best player in the world. And it happened. So that was nice. But it's the motivation was just, I don't like to say motivation. It's like, birds are not motivated to fly. They fly. I'm a coach, and I like to help people to achieve their dream. I like the contribution. I like everything. Oh, one word. I know you heard me saying that. I think a coach has three functions: to inform, give some knowledge, form, develop competency, habits like patterns, whatever it is. But the main challenge for me is to transform. Yeah. So inform, form, transform. So what do I like to transform? Their identity, their beliefs, their values, their mindset, their attitude, their mental skills. And if I succeed to transform at that level, then I can help to develop a winner, a champion. And that's a real challenge, the power of transformation. And there's such thing now called transformational pedagogy. It's pretty much based on awareness and self-reflection. So if you bring a lot of awareness, reflection, self-reflection, and all this, you can really help to transform someone. And that's for me the most exciting things about coaching.
And absolutely right on that. And also you create a circle of trust, no confidence, because it's like the players are very open to share with you any situation, no, and any opportunity. It's a very, you belong to the first circle, no?
Yeah, I think so. Personally, I think that if, let's say I coach you, if you feel I care about you, if you feel I believe in you, and if you're constantly improving with me, I don't see why you would leave me to go see another coach. So my relationship with players are always very, very long. And when I say very long, it's very long.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So because if they feel these three things, there's no way. And I have a very systematic approach to make people feel they improve. So I have it's not like I put a goal which is take 10 years to go there, because it's so easy to highlight small improvement. You can do this, like you can change the scoring, change the projection, change the reception, change the movement, change the difficulty, and you make them aware of where they are. And then it's easy to make them aware that they're better after a while. It's so easy to do, just to create that. I was quite influenced by Anthony Robbins. So I tried to create a constant and never-ending improvement. It's a good feeling for the players to always feel they're improving. So even when they get to the top, to always feel they're improving. And I think I'm quite good at selling objective to keep improving.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why we created the platform of the World Tennis Conference, on which you were main speaker the 2 first years. And that's the key, the key for coaches which are listening this episode. You have to learn from Louis. You have to keep learning, developing yourself, and try to day by day change a little bit, 1% per day, but doing that, no? Louis, how you manage, because you are coming from Canada, then now you are living since several years in England, but also you travel around and you develop different players, different culture, different personalities. How important is for you the communication process?
Well, if the communication is not there, it's impossible. But I mentioned the performer is head, heart, and legs.
Mm-hmm.
One of the communication is to be able to talk. Let's say I talk to you right now like this. I talk to the head. If I say, "Hey, Fernando, we're gonna do whatever, like it more inspirational on this," then I talk to the heart.
Yeah.
And when you drill, I will not just feed the ball. It's it's like vamos, the vamos. You bring energy. So sometimes on court, the communication has to be properly to the head, to the heart, and to the legs. This is very practical, but for a lot of coaches are same level. They either just yell in the court, "Come on," or they just do this, or they just like kind of flat. I look to alternate these type of communication. I think it's very important. And then I was not impressed, but Mark, when I was very young, that people know that sentence now, but when I was 20, that's 50 years ago, people care what you know when they know that you care.
Yeah.
And that's very, very important. So my point is the basic of the communication. Let's say, I care a lot about you. Even if I say something at one point that is not so nice or whatever, I care. So you will not be, you will not react. It's like if you put a lot of money in the bank, and if you make a little mistake in your communication, you just take some money out, but not the full account out. So I think I'm demanding, but the expression, I demand, but I support. Yeah. I think I do a lot of support. Players know I watch a match at night. They receive an email or report at 4 a.m., whatever. They know I work hard. They know they care. They know I believe in them. And like you say, circle of trust. When you do that, and after that, that affects communication. Because same thing with them, if they make a little, my point, if you make a little mistake, it's like in a relationship with your wife or girlfriend. If it's very, very nice, love someone, make a little mistake and you say sorry, and they say right away, it's okay, and you go on. But when the relationship is not very good, you make a little mistake and then, wow, You have to go hide. So that's it. For me, it's never really a challenge. I think you have to talk with your heart. And when you're honest, transparent, and all this, then the reciprocity of that type of communication happens. And then it's very good communication.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me go to the more technical stuff in terms how you approach the communication process in doubles between the players. So different styles. You have one system. What do you think the players have to create a communication on matches? No, of course, in competition.
Yeah. So let's say like the team right now is number one is Rajiv Ram and Joe Salisbury. Rajiv was quite introvert. I started with him, I don't know, 3 years ago, 4 years, and Joe also. Okay. So I talked with Rajiv. I say, if you both play together, it's going to be a disaster. So someone has to be the energy leader, and I name you to be that guy. So you're going to say, come on, Joe, go to him and watch them play. You will see Rajiv is always, come on, let's go, Joe. Never did that in his life. But I say kind of nicely, what was your best ranking? 11. So you never been top 10, right? And you're kind of 36, 37. No. Did you win a slam? No. Do you want to be top 10? Do you want to be number one? Do you want to win a slam? Yeah, let's do that. So you start at the beginning, he didn't like it. It was a bit fake. But now he started to like it, and he makes him realize he plays better.
Yeah.
And he makes the team play better. And he is the leader of energy. So I often label someone leader of energy. If they're both, it's okay, but it's rare that they're both the same thing. So I established communication. We have a rule, even with the juniors. Our juniors do very well internationally. We call that the 3-second rules. Whatever happened, you're together in 3 seconds. And it's partner first, ball after, especially with the junior, because the pro, they have ball boys, right?
Yes.
So let's say I play with you, we're both juniors. I enter forehand in the net. I don't go to walk and collect the ball and come. I go right away to you, and then I go collect the ball.
Good one.
So we have that. I think you saw one of my presentation on that, and the kids really follow the rules. And the rate of winning in the junior European was like 89% within our doubles match. It's a joke because we create a kind of a peak performance state by high positive energy. If we can maintain a high positive energy going to each other, if we create that state, it helps the performer to have a peak. And then of course we have some tactics, but it's mostly like the performer is there, and we create some rules to help them to manifest.
Very good one. And talking about communication and the process, how to deal with your partner, how you work with them to manage pressure, because to win a Grand Slam or to be top 10 or whatever, pressure is part of the game, but also not everyone is dealing with the pressure in the same way. How do you manage that?
But I could also say that not everyone sees pressure in the same way.
Yep.
So we cannot say pressure is a fact. This is pressure. People deal differently. I think people see pressure differently. So when we prepare all year to win the slam and you get in the final, we say, finally, here the opportunity and stuff like this. And you're all pumped and you're all excited because that's what you dream. It's happening. And you have the jitter, like, the artists, when they make a show, you have that febrility, but not the fear, just that excitement, and you go there. So I think it's all, how you say that, like when I was with junior, I was saying, finally, tournaments, guys, let's go and let's have fun. And not like one of my friends was, okay, now tournament is coming, okay? Let's not fool around here. And suddenly, tournament was something very scary, very thing and happening. Because I would not name names, but in the UK, if someone plays center court, wow, he's going to play better for sure. For sure. I could name you some names, but I won't. For sure. And if you put another guy in center court, he should be playing at Wimbledon on court 17. He will play better there. So center court, you could say bring pressure, but for some bring excitement. And so pressure is how you perceive things. And I look to communicate in a way that winning slam is not the pressure thing. It's not like a have to. It's a want to. I really believe in the power of the word, and I like to empower the players. For example, if I coach you, I will say, Fernando, when you play, you may choose. It may be preferable. You may consider. Look at the possibility of.
Yeah.
I will give you a lot of. I influence you a lot because then I will say the tactics, but I will not say you have to, you must, you need to, you better, be careful, be sure you don't. I will not stress you, work you, and limitate you and put pressure on you.
Yep.
Because what people don't realize sometimes it's the coach who put a lot of pressure on the kids, on the players, or the parents, you know. And like me with the performer, after they play, it's never about did you win or did you lose? Is did you perform? Did you follow your objective? So at one point, it becomes quite obvious that because we always say the process first, but you have to walk your talk. Some people say, oh, yeah, process first, outcome process, but everything is about outcome, the feedback outcome. And when they lose, you know, come on, get in the car and stuff like this. And there's no debrief, and it's everything is based on the outcome. And then you expect the kid to, or a child to have a good process mindset. I don't think it works like this. Yeah. So my point, because you asked a question very clear, how do you deal with pressure? By mostly see pressure as an opportunity. You know, I think who was saying labor, pressure is that's it, an opportunity, is a blessing, it's a challenge. So it's not see pressure as something negative.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we don't even call the word pressure.
Like an opportunity, no?
Yeah, it's an opportunity. Come on. And matter of fact, they all aware. I always say that in a match, when it's a close match, you think each team have opportunities to win the match or big points. There's a lot of opportunity in swing. So again, I say it's a good opportunity. And remember, you're going to have opportunities in that match. And if you're ready to take them, your chance of winning the match is big. Or also, most of my framework is to say, the reason why I believe you're going to win 52% of the point, 52%, because look at the stats, it's always 51, 52, 53 when you win. If you win like 55, it's 6-2, 6-1. So I look to make them believe in something, the nuance, what will make the difference, and help them to focus on a process. And that's how it's not to make such a big deal. But respect, it's Wimbledon. We'll do that. We'll sleep early to have it, because when you're tired, you're more impatient, or we're going to rest well, we're going to do this. We won't get distracted too much by that. But after that, let's go. And it's true, let's enjoy. It's fun to compete. It should not be stressful.
Absolutely.
If you can love to compete even more than you love winning, which is a bit what Andy is doing, he just loves to compete. My God, the guy is multi-millionaire, and he had the mental hip, and he wants to prove he can still play, and he loves to compete, and he goes out there, he goes to challenger. Come on, the guy was one in the world, super rich, but his love of tennis and compete is phenomenal. Yeah. So that's what I think it's important to develop a love to compete more than love of winning.
Yeah, and then definitely this is a special, a particular, skills or value of the top players. They love to compete. They love the competition. And Andy is an example.
Exactly. So, like I said at the beginning, I don't know. I was not with Nadal and all this, but what I know, I was with players who were not winners in the past, because with the LTA, I was mandate 12 people, which are normally 200. Like when I started with Lloyd Glasspool 2 years ago, he was 280, stopping playing singles. Mm-hmm. And now he will play his first master in Montreal. Like I say, 7 in the race. So I didn't take people who were winners, like best singles players or whatever. So I think that enjoyment to compete, the coach has a responsibility to create that. So if you have already a child, because a lot of coaches will listen to me, they don't just coach Nadal and stuff like that, they coach sometimes junior. You may have a junior who loves it, but you may have 6 who doesn't and get stressed and choke a lot. And I think that the coach has a responsibility to transform, to change the way you look at things, because you know very much there are some things, you have your lenses, how you look, and that creates the emotion. Pretty much everybody knows that equation. Something, the way you look at it, create emotion. So if you can transform the way you look at things, perceive things, you may create another set of emotions that could be more compelling to perform and have better success.
Yeah, very, very good insights. And also, which is very important because you did in many, many decades, you are very consistent. Let's say consistency is very important in terms of your human behavior, your human development. Sometimes we speak a lot about consistency on the game, but without to use that concept in terms how you have to behave on your own project. No, you did a lot about it.
Yeah, I like. It's funny because I don't want to be consistent in a way. I always coach like this because it's not true. I change a lot.
Of course.
I coach. It's not consistency in doing always the same thing for 50 years.
Yep.
It's more consistent in my attitude,
exactly,
my drive to be the best I can be. So that didn't change, but it made me change a lot. I've obviously done coach away. And by talking about coaching, I think personally now that UK, we may be one of the only one to systematically have moved from the game-based approach, which is quite known internationally, to the integrated approach. So the integrated approach, a big difference is, let's say I come to see you and I want a lesson on my volley. Before the model approach, the guy take a basket in middle, look at you being the volley, and then say bend a bit your knees, and he teach a model. Then you have the second generation, of course, the game-based approach. Oh, okay. Do you play singles? Do you play doubles? And in which game situation is it volley close to the net, mid-court? And he asks a question about the game to be sure you assess what you need. So this is much better. Now in UK, at the LTA, we will say, oh, can you tell me, what do you mean exactly what you want a lesson on your volley? What do you want to achieve together? And we have to let the person talk first. So let's say you say, well, it's because I lost confidence lately in my volley. Oh, that's interesting. Can you tell me a tiny bit more? And then you can tell me 4 things. I'll say it quite quickly. When the guy is from there, I never know if I should volley in the middle, drop shot, or behind him and stuff like this. It will be a tactical lesson of decision making, nothing to do with technique. If you say, oh, I cannot put away eye back and volley, okay, technique. If I say I'm afraid to be hit by the ball, it's a bit emotional, and you'll have to at the end say, are you a bit more confident? You can deal with that shot. And then you can teach something different to develop, remove that fear or anxiety. Or you could say, I'm there, I see the ball, but for some reason, no, I don't react on the lob or always feel off balance. And you can do something more physical, on balance, agility, reaction time, stuff like this. But if you talk first, like, okay, go at the net, I'll feed you a ball, on which if he doesn't have a time to talk, you cannot really know exactly what he wants. So pretty much everything is now integrated approach. And that's why it's mean like we have to be able to teach tactically, technically, physically, and mentally on the court all the time. And that's why strategy has these 4 performance factors. And if I make a report on return of serve, for example, it will be outcome. Okay, this is a percentage of 0.1 return in or whatever. But there will be a part on the performer. How did he perform? Head, heart, and legs on the return. And then tactics that he plays game style and technique. So everything is integrated. Because I hate the academy who say, in our academy, we do mental, physical, tactical, and technical. But in fact, physical is with a coach somewhere over there, fitness coach. Psychology is once an hour a week with a sports psychologist. And then the only thing they do is tactic and technique with their coach, because that's all they do. So we look to all the coach to be able to embrace an integrate approach, the way we question, the way we interact, and stuff like this. And I think it has helped the level. I think we start to do better and better because more coach master and integrate approach, I think more they can make some transformation and not just information and formation.
Which is very important to help to transform people, no? To have their own success. Louis, a couple more questions because we know that we can speak by hours about our sport.
We used to when we were in Argentina together.
We used to, yeah. many times. What do you think about the new rules of the ATP about coaching, allowed in coaching?
But until I try it, I will not be able to really know it, what it is. I'm a bit concerned that some coach will want too much to make a big difference. They go and do some over coaching. A bit some concern, but I know people have resistance to change, so I don't want to have that resistance to change. I will look at it. I will do it myself. I will observe, and then I will do it. So it could be positive. It could improve the level, because I see sometimes some players tapping out or getting flat or like semi-tanking or stuff like this. So I think the coach could help to maintain a peak performance state. So it could help. But on the other hand, if the players start to be dependent of the coach to maintain that, so I don't know yet. I can see why it could be good. I could see why it could not be good. I think the mindset of the coach will have to be very clear. Am I doing that to promote my ego? Is there a mic? Do I want people to hear what I said?
The camera is now.
The camera is on me. I have to do something or talk, because they will think I do nothing. So if a coach is very secure centered and he do generally what he thinks the player will need to be support while still empowering him, like for example, if I talk to the players, because I will probably talk if there's a opportunity, I would say these words, guys, you may consider to coach a tiny bit more because of that. Look at the possibility to maybe do more eye, but I will not say, okay, guys, you have to do more eye. You need to poach now and stuff like this. I will not start to buzz them around just because I can talk to them. I will keep using a vocabulary that empowers them, that bottom line, leave them to make the decision. So I may provide some suggestions, but I won't give them some orders.
Yeah. Louis, you are doing all different projects on LTA and your position, helping a lot of different tennis players, tennis coaches, tennis people. Which are the new challenges with the LTA? Which are the new things coming out for the future?
Well, I don't know. As a collective team, we always strive to be the best we can be to improve. I'm not involved in everything, so I can talk more about what I'm involved. So I'm involved. Leon Smith put me with the doubles players because I have some success and they want that to continue. They say, why not? I'm with the National Academy for Junior, and I'll help Nick Cavadi, who does a good job. And at least nationally, it goes well because there's 2 academy, but the academy in Loughborough, and there's 14 regional center, one everything, under 18 boys, girls, under 16 boys, girls, singles, doubles. So it shows that an environment for grouping the better with the best coach seem to produce very well. Internationally, we still have to work hard to dominate, but at least it shows that that can work. But there's a lot to improve for me for the National Academy Junior. I think we're doing well, but it's not to the point where I think we should provide. And I'm involved with the coaching at the highest level with Nick Will, who started that job about 2 years ago, and is very keen to make it more practical and to do something more, don't know the English word, but tailor-made. So if you come, you will have some needs, and we'll be sure that each candidate, in addition to the core knowledge or basic or formation, that we're going to address what you want and support you to become the best you can be. So that will be exciting, and I will do several practical delivery on that. And that goes well. So what is the challenge? The challenge is to always grow, always getting better, because even if you grow, the other country grow. And like you're part of helping people to grow. So, you think suddenly because you have presented the integrated approach, okay, we're getting there, but you present things and all this, and some people catch it and okay, now we have to always try to look to how can I be a bit different too. So that's why it was easy for me to coach Jamie, because when I come, I was not labeled right away, oh, that's a top high performance coach. So I had to be different. I had to come with framework. I had to come with a new coaching methodology. And who was the best in that coaching methodology? It was me, because I created. So then I tried to be different, be this and create. And I always look to innovate and create. And I think the LTA, I think it's a challenge for everybody. And I know you always look personally yourself to innovate, create, and all this. And I think that's a constant challenge the Federation will have.
Yeah. Last question, Louis. Like I said before, we can talk by hours. Are you enjoying your journey?
Of course, I'm enjoying the journey. I think I shared with you once, at one point, I was quite happy financially. And my retirement was to create stuff to deliver more conference and more that, and hire an assistant because I was getting quite rich. I'm not anymore. To create that, and I would just have to think, say what I want, and the guy would have get the clips, get the PowerPoint, get everything, and then I would have present. So my passion to contribute, to share to the coaches. I have two passions: coaching coaches and coaching players. And in Canada, I was doing both. And at the UK, I was fortunate also to do both. So to do like 8 months with the players and like 3 months with the coaches. And in Canada, it was like 7 and 4. I always have that split, which I really like, really enjoy.
And always you are sharing your passion, your love for our game. Many thanks, Louis, to be in our episode. It was a privilege for us in another episode of the Tennis Talk Coaches' Voices.
Thank you, Fernando. All the best, and keep doing your great work.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you also for the GPTCA, Tennis One, and Segal Intitute, which are building a bridge to create more awareness and grow in our sport. This is important to create a culture of sharing that we try to do, bringing top players, top leaders, top coaches, in this case, like Louis Cayer. Thank you very much.
I am Alberto Castellani, President of GPTCA, Global Professional Tennis Coach Association. Learn from the best ATP coaches in the world. I hope that at the end of this course you will learn a lot of things. I hope that I will see you on the circuit with your player. This is the goal.